Pan picked out the last leaf, and all that remained at the bottom of the fountain pool was dirt and grime. Not wanting to waste time heading back up to the house, he summoned the broom and dustpan from the closet in the front hallway and began to sweep. He may not have been able to transport himself around as he did before the curse, but he could still move objects over a short distance with the limited telekinesis he'd retained. Katerina watched him, a curious expression on her face. He couldn't tell if her slight frown was due to worry over her current circumstances, the magically appearing cleaning supplies, or for him. Pan really hoped she didn't pity him, because if she did at the present, revealing his past would be painful for both of them. Experience it again as the feature presentation, start to finish, was going to suck horribly. After Pan removed the loose dirt from the fountain, he tossed the broom and dustpan beside the pile of leaves. Having fixated his energy doing something hands-on helped him prepare for the onslaught of memories, but he had to start soon before he changed his mind and didn't go through with it. Pan dropped to his knees and rubbed his hands together, looking at the ground around him, contemplating how best to go about filling the fountain with water. Now what? Katerina paced, wringing her hands. Barely looking up at her, Pan put his hand to the ground and concentrated. The well water came from a creek not too far beyond the trees to the right of the house. He focused on the water there, putting all he had into calling it to him. Had he been a water god, no real effort would be necessary, but telekinesis worked better on solid objects more so than billions of molecules of water. As it was, he half expected to have a nosebleed by the time he finished. The earth trembled beneath his hand, bending. A small furrow formed in the ground, and suddenly water flowed past and over his hand, up the side of the marble and into the fountain pool. Physics were a joke when one had otherworldly abilities. Nice trick, Moses. I would say, why don't you let your people go? But since you won't let me leave, it would fall on deaf ears. Pan chuckled. She could claim sarcasm as a language of its own. But even though she sounded bored and unimpressed, the awe was written all over her face. She was riveted by the unnatural flow of water. Moses didn't enslave anybody. The Pharaoh did. Details. The pool would only hold about 1.5 feet of water, and he stopped the flow once it reached that point. Pan stood up and wiped his hands on his thighs. The pool wasn't as clear as he'd like it to be, but it was enough to cast a reasonable reflection. It would do. He motioned for Katerina to step forward, and she did so with some hesitation. Find a comfortable position where you can see into the water. You may be sitting for a while. He resisted the urge to pick the leaves out of her curled hair. The appearance made her look wild, like a nymph, though she wasn't one. She sat on the ground, legs curled to her side, laying both arms crossed on the lip of the fountain. She laid her head on her arms and gazed into the water. I'm not going to like what I see, am I? She didn't turn to look at him, but she watched his reflection when she spoke. No, Katerina. Pan lifted his pipes to the level of his mouth. You're not. I'm ashamed for my part in the memories you're about to see. Know that when you see them. Try not to hate me for what I've done, and for what I didn't do, for what I allowed to occur when I could have prevented it. He began to play, conjuring his memories and letting them pour from a melody in a series of notes invisible to the naked eye, yet soft and seductive to the ear. It coursed through him and out like blood from a wound. It had threatened to bleed from him for years, and Pan feared he wouldn't be able to stop it even if he wanted to. As the murky water turned and formed the images that haunted his mind, he closed his eyes and just played, lost in his song.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.